Hello, my name is Keith Haswell. I'm a professional astrologer with 39 years experience in the business and over 30,000 clients worldwide. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this video. And on this video I'm going to speak with you about awareness of impact. Now I did this video a few days ago and there was just so much that I wanted to communicate with you about self-awareness that it went on to 1 hour and 15 minutes, and so it was just a bit too long. So what I decided to do was to break it down into two halves, and so this is the first half that you're seeing here now, and this one I've renamed Awareness of Impact. The second half is awareness of greatness, and you're going to go on a terrific journey here with me through understanding the nature of reality, your place in that reality, and the impact that you have on those in your environment and friends and those that you work with and loved ones and intimates and children and so forth, neighbours and parents. And you're going to learn so much about the impact that you have on them and the impact that they have on you. And this impact is what awareness is all about, awareness of impact. So just sit back and relax now and enjoy this first half, and then you can take a break for a few days to absorb the complexity of what I'm going to explain to you now and share with you now from my 39 years of teaching on these subjects and researching these subjects and meditation and going into higher dimensions and so forth. And enjoy the journey with me. Being aware of self. Self-awareness is a realization that you have impact. That you have impact upon those in your reality and that they have impact upon you. So that's what self-awareness is awareness of impact. I've written 2 books on astrology, meditation and reincarnation. The first one, What Really Matters, is a book about astrology, meditation and reincarnation, and you learn so much from the knowledge that is there, and I'm prepared to share that with you free of charge. Just by having your horoscope done at my website, you get a whole bundle of goodies, 12 CDs of my intensive number 1, which are the verbal extraction of what really matters, and it covers self-esteem and all sorts of things in there, and self-confidence and everything. So it's a good book for you to be able to get into, and you'll get that free of charge in printed form too when you come to my website and submit your birth details. And self-awareness and the awareness that you have impact is the beginning of your spiritual awareness, basically. And that's what life is all about. Life is all about spiritual awareness. Life is all about having fun and expanding your intelligence, and you do that through the events of your life and the relationships in your life, and to expand your consciousness. Expand your consciousness about what? Expand your consciousness about the nature of reality and your place in that reality. You're in that reality, you might as well be aware of how you can have the greatest and most positive impact upon yourself and upon others who are out there. So this is the nature of life, is becoming aware of self, and you do that through various stages of your growth. First of all, as an infant, when you think that emotionally that you are connected to your mother, and then you have a massive awakening at just after 2 years of age, whereby you become aware of the fact that you can have feelings and your mother can have other feelings, that they're not the same, because up to that time they have been the same. So there's a disconnection emotionally at the end of that infant period, and then the child is self-important. self-important. It's all about me, 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 me. So you're gathering experiences and you're gathering impact upon yourself from parents and from siblings and from teachers and from workmates and all sorts of people. Not workmates when you're in the child stage, but still friends and relatives and neighbours and teachers and those who are there having impact in your life, cousins and aunts and uncles and so forth, neighbours and neighbours' children, friends, group activities. So you're involved in a lot of things that it all centres around me. It's my gymnastics, or it's my singing lessons, or it's my piano lessons, or it's my flute lessons, or it's my art lessons, or my keeping fit and healthy lessons, or ballet lessons, or whatever it is that you want to get into. And the boys have different sort of interests there as well. Then you go into your adolescence and there's a massive explosion of the cells and so forth growing, hormones all over the place, sex drives rampant, and there's a lot of activity there in the adolescent stage. And adolescence can go on normally to 21, something like that, but there's plenty of 40 and 50-year-old adolescents around. So that's a stage in your life that is always there. You can always revert to it, or you can always revert to child and so forth. So it's becoming aware of you as an individual, what makes you up. So you then move in after some sort of wounding at the end of your adolescence, whereby you go out there into the world and get married and have children and experience work and whatever you're doing, so that you're expanding all the time your experience, and in turn they're having impact upon you and you're having impact upon those in your reality. So this is what it's all about, is learning, who am I? Knowing yourself is a massive need. And so you're out there in the world and you're experiencing all of these events, and that's important to understand that that is all spiritual. All of those events, all of those conditions are having impact upon you, and you're trying to sort it all out. From 21 to maybe 50, you're in the adult or young adult stage, where you're having a lot more experience and so forth, and there's quite a lot of impacts upon your consciousness as you're proceeding there. You think to yourself, who can I blame for this? But becoming aware of the fact that these impacts upon your consciousness originate from within yourself, then you're becoming self-aware. That's self-awareness. And that's what the task is at hand, and that's what I want to talk with you about in this video, is becoming more aware of the fact that you have impact and that others have impact upon you, so that you can then start to analyse what's causing those impacts. And that's when you get led into your raw materials, your attitudes, your beliefs, your thoughts and your feelings. They're your raw materials. They're the things that are building all the events and conditions in your life. Attitudes that you got from various ones as you were growing up, beliefs that you were drummed into you as children and so forth, beliefs about all areas of your life. So it's important to understand that you're having these impacts, that you are experiencing these impacts from out and creating the impact into your circle of influence, and you are reflecting upon that and becoming more and more aware of the connection between the outer events and conditions and the inner cause, which are your attitudes, beliefs, thoughts, feelings, decisions and choices. What you've got to remember is that this all functions on the emotional and mental plane, outside of the realm of the measuring devices of science. So it's all out of the realm of the measuring devices of science, and therefore they can't measure it all. They can only work at the effects end of things. So we're looking at causes. This is what metaphysics is all about. This is my task as a spiritual teacher, is to help you to start to focus upon the impact that you are having and the impact that others are having upon you, and the connection between what's the cause of those impacts. And if there is a cause, apart from blaming mother or that teacher or that father who let you down, or that boss or that ex who talks terribly about you, so you've got all of these different impacts are happening upon you. Beliefs are drummed in there as you're growing up and so forth. And some of these are negative. And if the events and conditions in your life are painful, then it means that the raw materials have got a lot of gunk in there that has to be worked out and processed out of there. You can't just kill it all. You can't just listen to a bit of music and some aural beats or whatever and do microwave impulses or whatever into your chakras and wake yourself up. That would, a lot of people would like to sell you that idea, and they'd like to sell you the idea that you can become enlightened overnight by just doing this particular course or something like that. So you are in the process of becoming more of who you really are, and you're in incarnation. You've lived hundreds of lives before to get where you are today. So it's a massive awareness to start coming to, that you have eternal life, that you can never ever die. And that's where God and Goddess comes in, and as the more that you expand that intelligence and expand your awareness of impact and make a connection between the impact and the outer events, then you can get to the root cause of those impacts, change those raw materials, and you'll change the outer events and conditions in your life. So remember, it's very important to understand that the impact of those events and conditions and experiences in your life are not just having impact upon you physically. You dropped your keys, or you ran into someone's car, or you fell over and hurt your ankle or something like that. These other events that are having more of an impact upon you on emotional and mental levels. And that's where you are becoming polarized in your consciousness, is upon your emotions and your mind. And the adolescent stage is all about the lower chakras, the regeneration organs, and the emotions, and the solar plexus center and the sacral center and the center at the base of the spine for their running and doing sports and being the He-Man that he has to be, or the model girl that she has to be for the sake of impressing the parents or whatever. So we're all out there experiencing these events, and they're having impact upon us, and it's up to us to start making a connection between the events and conditions and realise that they're on the mental plane and the emotional plane. The impact upon you is not physical, it's emotional. The impact upon you is not physical, it's mental. So you spend all of your time, you have 50,000 thoughts a day. 50,000 thoughts a day, that's a very, very big impact upon the emotional and mental plane, because a lot of those thoughts are connected with worry and fear and anxiety and doubt and insecurity and low self-esteem and guilt and shame and fear and anxiety and self-punishment and self-pity, so anger. And there's just so many things there that are impacting upon you very heavily on the emotional plane and on the mental plane, and that's where you are polarized in consciousness. So when you start to make these connections then between your attitudes and your beliefs and your thoughts and your feelings, and these are the things that you are being prompted time and time again to make decisions and choices. And your decisions and choices are motivated by your raw materials, your attitudes, your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, your decisions and your choices. So if your decisions and choices are creating negativity in your life, that argument or that conflict or that personal reality that didn't work out because you didn't plan it properly. You're stressing about finances and so forth. You've got a lot of conflict with relatives and neighbours and matters relating to your motor vehicles and so forth. And you've got relationships in the home environment with those intimates and close ones, children and lovers and spouse and friends and relatives and mums and dads and so forth. So the home environment, you're experiencing a lot of worries and fears and anxieties and doubts about these areas. And then there's romance and love and the social side of life and children. And that is a great area of amusement and entertainment where you're having impact in love affairs and relationships and having fun and enjoying yourself. Relaxation and sports and everything all fit into there. Restaurants, places of amusement. So there's a lot of impact going on there on emotional levels and mental levels, especially when there's conflict in your relationships with people that you work with, and you've got a lot of conflict inside yourself to do with health matters, and your spouse you're a bit opposite each other at the moment and not seeing eye to eye. And you've got worries and fears about joint finances and death, fear of death. And you've got interest in expanding yourself to new horizons through study, research and investigation, and becoming more of who you really are and expanding your awareness through travel as well. You see other societies, it's a massive expansion of consciousness. And you have your relationship with parents, even after you get married and all of that. And you've got government department dealings. You've got high ambitions. You want to become wealthy, or you want to become successful in business and career. So you aspire to the heights there, and there's a lot of ambition going on, but also quite a lot of conflict quite often. And with friends and group social activities and so forth, you have got these impacts in other people's children. There's impact there and you're impacting them. And there's club activities and group social activities and stuff like that. And then there's solitude, where you have an opportunity to learn about the mystery of solitude and how wonderful it is to be able to have meditations and to go deep and reflect upon the purpose of life and life after death, and the fact that you've been given the gift of eternal life by God, Goddess, all that is. It's worthwhile investigating, I would suggest. It's worthwhile investigating, and you are told by me that Goddess loves you madly and wants you to become all that you can be and more. And she wants to have a personal relationship with you that will be a partnership, blossom into a partnership eventually, whereby you can both, as a team, create a better reality for yourself that's not as painful and not as fearful and not so full of shame and guilt and anxiety and stress and tension and anger and so forth. You want to be able to develop it into love, tenderness, kindness, sympathy, tolerance, patience, trust, devotion, idealism, hope, joy, wonder. And as you learn to expand your consciousness about programming and the science of meditation, you learn how to create the events and conditions of your life through the power of choice, instead of through them coming through the raw materials. Now, it's important to understand that you have needs in life, and these needs are being fulfilled through the events and conditions in your life which must fit somewhere into one of the 12 houses of the horoscope. So you've got needs as far as personal initiatives and interests are concerned. The first house needs to be powerful, needs to be able to protect yourself, needs to survive, needs to be able to be someone and make something of yourself, needs to be able to plan and organise and initiate and commence projects and ideas that give you a chance to prove your strength and talent. and your power. And you've got a lot of needs there that are tied up in the second house of finances. The security needs, very, very vital and important needs. And so there's a lot of things there. And you've got the third house is the need to communicate. All of us need to communicate and to be able to put our point across and to be able to ultimately become known and to know somebody, and in turn to love that person. And of course you grow up with your siblings and you get a lot of activity going on there, and with your parents and family and so on and so forth. And then there's the home environment, the need for belonging. The need of belonging, it belongs in the fourth house of your horoscope. Belonging to a family unit, belonging to a home environment, and that's where you come home to every time after gallivanting around out there in your activities. And then you've got the fifth house is the need to love and to have fun. And you do that through entertainments and amusements, and you do the loving through romance and relationships before marriage and with your children after marriage, and so forth. So there's a love affair going on there between yourself and other souls in your life, and there's a wonderful needs that are fulfilled there. The need to love and the need to have fun. We mustn't forget the fun. And then there's needs as far as gameful employment, intelligent work, meaningful work is a vital part of our needs in order to be able to maintain health, and to find meaningful work and to focus upon keeping the body, the temple of the soul, in good condition through the right food and right diet and right exercise and right sleep patterns and less abuse with alcohol and drugs. And there's a lot of needs being fulfilled there. The need to feel secure in your bodily health, and the need for meaningful work. And then you've got the seventh house is the need for intimacy and closeness and being known and knowing somebody, and being able to have a dialogue there on an intimate basis with those close intimates, especially spouses, whether married or just living together. And then you've got the need to be known there. And then there's the eighth house is the need for change. We all have a need for change and for introspection and reflection, to be able to reflect upon what impact that we're having, becoming more self-aware all the time through this introspection and reflection. So it's a wonderful setup when you get into it and start perceiving life from a spiritual point of view, because it's all spiritual. Everything is spiritual. All the walls around you in your home, all the relationships that you have going, you've set it up exactly that way prior to coming into life. So you have needs fulfilled there for change within the eighth house of your horoscope, and the ninth house is the need to expand. And you expand through overseas travel, or you expand through study, research and investigation as an adult, and to do college courses and university courses, and to be able to expand your understanding on a particular specialty. And I'd like to make that specialty metaphysics. Metaphysics, so that you can understand more about who you are and where you are heading in life, so that you can start to let go of the past and you can start throwing out a grappling hook to the future and pull yourself towards a wonderful future where you become more aware of who you really are, the fact that you've been given the gift of eternal life, that you can never ever die, and that God and Goddess love you and know your name. And they care about you. And they want to have more of an input together with you to create a more functional reality and a happier reality and a more secure reality and a more expansive reality and a more belonging reality and a more having fun reality and a more intimacy and a more meaningful work reality and a more being known reality and a more change reality, so that you become more of the giant that you truly are. And then there's the 10th house of your highest aspirations, the need to be honoured and respected in the community. And the 11th house, the need to belong to a group of friends or to a club or society or a special sporting activity or some activity through our children, other people's children playing a prominent part in your life in the 11th house, and friends and group activities and all of that. So the need to be intimate, the need to be close, the need to communicate and the need to belong, and a lot of the different needs, a need to know somebody, a need to be known, fits into the area of friends there, and quite often they're to do with the neighbourhood as well. And then you've got the 12th house, which is the house for you, the house for you for spiritual growth and development, to be able to reflect upon the events and conditions of your life and to try and make a connection between the origin of those impacts, the origin of that awareness. That's what self-awareness is becoming more aware of the fact that you are having impact out there, and that it all fits into the horoscope and the 12 houses of the horoscope, and that all fits into needs that you have. You have a need, the 12th house need for solitude, and you will enforce that upon yourself through an accident or an injury or a surgery or a sickness that takes you into hospital for enforced introspection, enforced solitude, giving you an opportunity to introspect and reflect about the goodness, truth and beauty that you are, and the values and principles that you stand for, the principles of reliability and honesty and integrity and trust and commitment and caring and sharing and all these things that come with all of that. So you're all on the growth, on the path of change. You're all on the path of spiritual growth. Whether you accept that or whatever, it doesn't make any difference. That's just the fact of the matter, is that it's all spiritual. You can prove that to yourself by having your horoscope done. And in that I'm able to tell you things about yourself from only a fraction of your horoscope. If I do your horoscope number 2, I'll be able to tell you a lot more as a 20-page printout. And if I do your horoscope number 3, I'm speaking into a microphone directly to you to help you to understand the impacts and the events and conditions, the qualities that you're working on to develop within yourself, and stuff like that, to help you become more of the giant that you truly are. So you've got all of these experiences through the various houses of the horoscope, and you've got to realise that there's a lot of emotions and feelings and attitudes and beliefs that are connected there with these events and conditions in your life through the 12 houses of your horoscope. This is what becoming more spiritually aware is all about. To be aware of the fact that it is a spiritual reality that you are living in, that consciousness is creating it all, and that you have the task at hand of expanding your consciousness, expanding your intelligence. And the more intelligent you become, the more you want to know about the origin of all the impacts that are happening in my life. That's what becoming more self-aware is all about. So you've got these beliefs and attitudes that are all scattered there throughout these, that my personal interests never work out very well, I can't plan things very well, and I haven't got the willpower to follow through on it. Attitudes and beliefs that are there deeply ingrained in the subconscious mind. life is a financial struggle for me. I never be able to rise above the bills that are coming in. I'm always having trouble with money and so forth. It always seems to elude me. So there's a lot of beliefs in there. A lot of these beliefs are handed down from parents. And then you go to the third house and you've got a lot of activities going on there with regard to beliefs. Beliefs that life is a struggle, that you've got to argue and fight for what you want. You've got to dominate or be dominated. You've got to control or be controlled. You've got to manipulate people so that you can create the reality that you want out of all of that. But by trying to manipulate people, you're not going to create the reality that you want. You'll create tension and conflict and arguments and so forth. So there's a lot of attitudes and beliefs going on there in regard to communication, and they play out many times when there's a build-up of negative anger or argumentativeness or something like that. Then that shows up as an accident on the road and that sort of thing. Third house activity, motor vehicles. And then you've got the fourth house. There's a lot of beliefs and attitudes around there to do with belonging and security, and that mum and dad are just not there for you, or they're just, one's not there with alcohol or drugs or whatever. Escapist habit patterns through overeating, bad low self-esteem and low self-image there in the home environment, and consequently it has impact upon you. So you come through this life into your adult stage up to the age of 50, and you're trying to get it all together and to know who you are, and you've got all of these attitudes and beliefs that are there in your in to do with the home and the family. And then there's the fifth house. I can't have fun. Life isn't fun for me. I'm stuck with the kids. I'm angry about that he dumped me with the kids. And I've got no fun in my life, no money to be able to get out there and enjoy myself. Romance and love and the social side of life, I never have a good time when I go out. I can't express intimacy and closeness and tenderness and kindness and forgiveness and sympathy because I'm bitter. I'm full of self-pity and anger and shame and guilt and fears and anxieties and doubts and low self-esteem. And so there's attitudes and beliefs all the way through these houses. And then connected with the sixth house is the job and dealings with co-workers. They're not fair, they're gossiping about me. Attitudes and beliefs about work, I don't like it, or whatever. So there's a lot of negativity going on there, competition with one wanting to dominate the other and so forth. So there's a lot of competition going on there in the work environment. And tensions and conflicts about health and dietary matters, overweight, not proud of it, trying to control your diet, and lazy with regard to exercise, can't seem to manage to get to do more than 100-yard walk every day, and even that's irregular. It's okay, you don't have to be perfect. I know you love those cream buns and you love those beers and you love those ice creams and you love that rich fatty food and the fast food and the carbohydrates, the cakes and so forth. Yeah, well, you're human and that's normal and natural. Half the American people, I think, are overweight because they love the good life. They love fun. Fifth house matters. Sixth house matters. You've got to keep yourself fit though, and you get the attitudes and beliefs there that are negative, that I'm an unhealthy person, that I can't cooperate with people that I work with. And then you go on to the seventh house of marriage and relationships and close ones. Ooh, I'm fearful of intimacy, fearful of closeness, fearful of being known, and unable to feel as if I can know somebody. And so the intimacy thing is a difficult thing sometimes for people, especially in later years and so forth. So there's a lot going on there in the seventh house with attitudes and beliefs being taken inside of yourself as you're proceeding through all of these events and conditions, through this spiritual experience, through the reality that God and Goddess created for you emotionally and mentally, to be able to have that impact, because it's important to understand that every single event in your life has an emotional or mental impact, has originated from an emotional or mental thought form. All of these are thought forms. So your attitudes and your beliefs are thought forms that are there inside of yourself as your raw materials. And all of these events and conditions are being filtered through those attitudes and beliefs, and through that introspection and reflection about the impact and so forth, you're having a lot of changes inside of yourself. There's the desire to expand, and you're into higher education and travelling and so forth. So there's conflicts and there's beliefs about that. It's dangerous to travel, and I always get into trouble with the law when I travel, and there's always going to be delays with the planes or the boats or the trains or whatever, or getting there, we're late because of heavy traffic. All these beliefs and attitudes. And 10th house, you've got all these beliefs and attitudes there connected with your ambition to become more of who you really are, and to aspire to greatness, and to be well recognised in the community and so forth. So respect, the needs for respect and honour, and striving to become more. And the 11th house, you've got a lot of things there with friends that you're just not in the mood today, but you're together and you just don't feel like communicating, and so you want to get out of there, so you create a tense situation. Or they're not seeing your point of view because they're absorbed within themselves, and so there's stress and tension of feelings of being rejected and so forth. So there's a lot going on there. And then your 12th house, you got all of these beliefs and attitudes about I'll be lonely forever, and that nobody loves me, and I hate being by myself, and I'm the worst type of person in the world, and I'll never be successful, and all of these depressive and self-abnegating things that you reaffirm about yourself. And that's your secrets that you know about yourself that others don't know. So there's a lot of introspection there in the 12th house, and that's a lot of impact upon beliefs and pumping up of beliefs. And this is where it all happens, is through the 12 houses of your horoscope. All of those events are originating from beliefs and attitudes. So you don't have to worry about the events and what they are. What you do have to worry about is what is the cause of those events. And that is what self-awareness is all about. So self-awareness is becoming aware of the fact that you are building thought forms within yourself as these attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings, and they prompt your decisions and choices. So you are faced with circumstances and you make decisions and choices that many times are not what you would want to be and do and say and express. So all of us are in a spiritual classroom. Well, that's the finish now of this first half of this video. And I suggest now that you take a break, and that you take a few days to just reflect upon the things that you've gained from this first half of this video on self-awareness. And then go on to the second half of this video, which is been renamed Awareness of Greatness, Your Greatness. So go on with the task now. Don't let yourself down. There's so much there that I go into in the second half that goes into cosmic concepts about your future. And what you can do now too is to make sure that you subscribe to my videos, and go on with the task now and listen to my CDs, watch some more of my videos, get your horoscope done if you haven't had it done by me already, and just be serious and diligent about your spiritual growth and your expansion of consciousness and your expansion of your awareness. Thank you.